Hi there. In this series, I'm giving you a behind the scenes look at the apps I use to run my business. Today, I'm going to show you how I use Descript, a fantastic video editor that you are going to want to use if you do any sort of video editing for your business. If you've had to edit videos in the past, you know it can be a time consuming process. I'll show you some of my favorite features, ones that make video editing an absolute breeze. I estimate that I save 1 to 5 hours per video, depending on the length. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that I want to show you, and honestly, this is the reason that I use Descript. When you either upload a video or you can record right into Descript, once you're done, it turns it into a transcript. So you've got this transcript right here. You've got your video on the side on the right, and then down below you have your timeline. But what's really fantastic about Descript is how you can edit. You can edit just like you would a word processor. So for example, let's say that I don't want this sentence right here. I just want to go ahead and delete that. All I have to do is select, delete, and it goes away down here in the timeline. So that's it. That's all you have to do to delete a part of the video. If you've ever worked in a normal video editing app, you know that it is not this easy. You have to go to the timeline, you have to find exactly where it is, but you don't really know, so you have to listen, and then you have to find the beginning and end of that piece that you want to cut out, and then you have to delete it. And most of them are not what's called lossless, which means that once you delete it, it's gone. So in Descript, this isn't gone, it's hidden, which means I can go down here, bring this up a little bit so I can see. So I can go down here, move it back, and this is what I just deleted. And that's all I have to do to get something back. So that is how you manually edit and cut something out of your video. So hopefully you can see how quick and easy this is and how much time you can save by not having to work with a timeline all the time. Now, you will probably want to use the timeline on occasion because sometimes when you cut the words, it's not quite right. So you can go down here and you can zoom in and get exactly the piece that you want to cut out. Okay, so that is why I absolutely love Descript. Now, if this was the only thing that Descript did, I would still get it, but it's not. It has a lot of other great features. So let me show you those as well. So over here to the right, we have all of these different options. And at the top, it says Underlord, and that is Descript's AI. So they call it Underlord instead of AI being an overlord. And there's a lot of different things you can do with this. One is to edit for clarity. So what this will do is it'll be like any other AI model that you've asked, like, can you clean up, make this copy more succinct? So it'll pretty much do that. So all you have to do is edit for clarity. You give it the level of intensity, which basically means you just want a little bit of clarity, a little bit of cleaning up versus a lot of cleaning up. And then you can go ahead and click submit and it'll start working. And it'll give you all of these options. So you can click on the option, you can go see what it wanted to change. You can accept it or you can not accept it. So if you want to keep it, you don't accept it. And if you want to take it, then you can go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and ignore all of these. I'm just going to discard all the edits. But if you want to take all of the edits, you can just click done. You can copy edits to a new composition. So let's say you're like not quite ready, you don't trust it just yet. You can create a new composition and play with that one instead. But I am going to go ahead and click discard all edits. Okay, so that just took it back to what I had before. Another feature that it has is studio sound. And that is really great for anyone who doesn't have a really strong mic. So if your mic isn't all that great or you're not even using an external mic, you're using your computer mic, then you might want to try studio sound. It does make it sound deeper and clean up background noises. It'll enhance the voices and it does a pretty good job of it. It's not perfect, but it does a pretty good job. Next, we have remove filler words. So what this does is if you have the hobbyist subscription, you can get rid of all the ums and uhs and things like that. If you have the creator, you can get rid of a bunch more, such as repeated words, so, right, like, all of those extra little words that we say in conversation. You could get rid of those if you want. Okay, next, you can remove retakes. And this is huge because this allows you to keep recording no matter if you make mistakes. If you make a mistake, you just stop, repeat it again, and the Underlord remove retakes will take care of it for you. It works pretty similar to Edit for Clarity, where it will suggest different options for you and you can approve or not. And then the next one we have is shorten word gaps. So what this is if you have some pausing, like maybe you were thinking as you were recording or something like that was happening, what you can do is you can give it direction for what you want it to do with those silences. So what I usually do is say anything that is longer than a second long, shorten it to 1 second. And then I can go from there. Okay, and I don't add chapters, so I'm going to skip that one. Eye contact is a good one. So this is for you if you read from a teleprompter and you have the teleprompter words really close to the camera. It will do a really good job of making it look like you're looking directly into the camera. It does not work if your eyes are all over the place, right? You have to be looking close to the camera, but it does a really good job if you are. Okay, and then I'm going to skip some of these because I've never used them. Center active speaker and green screen. Generate an image. This is very similar to any of the AI image models that you might try. It's not great for realistic pictures. It doesn't do a good job of that. Everybody looks kind of plastic and like Barbie dolls. But it is kind of nice for abstract backgrounds you can ask for, things like that. So go ahead and give it a try. See if you find anything that you might be able to add into your video that makes sense. Okay, so for this next one, create clips, I'm going to go ahead and go to another video because creating a portrait size clip for something that has the screen where I'm sharing my screen doesn't make sense. So I'm going to go ahead and just go out. And I'm going to just go find one. Let's do this one. Okay, so this one has a face to camera and it makes more sense for creating a clip for a face to camera. Okay, so create clips and you can select a bunch of clips that they've already selected for you. So you can choose one that makes sense or you can create your own. So what I did here is I created my own clip. So the captions, and I'll show you here in a second what it looks like. The captions are my brand colors and the way I want it to look. So I can select one. And you can see here that I've selected white text with a burgundy that goes across years to come. The trick to make it, and that it just brought in the layout that I'd already created as a template. Okay, so then what you can do is look at the clip, see if it works for you. And what they're doing here, you can see where it's kind of grayed out and crossed out. That is just giving you the option of selecting more than what they give you. So this is their suggestion, but they're also giving you some before and after to play around with if this isn't quite right. Okay, so that's how you can create a clip. You can also do a highlight reel. I have not yet had great success with a highlight reel, but you can play around with that and see if you can get that to work. It could just be that my videos aren't long enough. So you can give it a try and see if it works for you. Okay, and then down here we have publish. So it'll create a summary for you, show notes, YouTube description. You can draft a social post from it, which is actually pretty good. And you can draft a blog post from it. And I have found this to be really good. So this is what it looks like. I'm not going to do any of this stuff. See what it does on its own. And what I love about it is how organized it is. So it's got the headers. In this case, it's got bullet points that I can put in. So I can just read it, see if it makes sense, tweak it the way I need to tweak it, and create a blog post from a video. So this is a great way to repurpose any videos that you're creating for social media that you also want to turn into a blog post. Okay, so that is Underlord. The other thing I want to show you is the scene. So I don't think I've done this. Yeah, good. Okay, so in this one, what I want to do is I created a little animation that comes in, or I want it to come in at the beginning of a video that has my name, kind of wipes in and wipes out. And I created a template for that. So I'm going to go find it. I think it's in here. So it's this one. So I just click on it. And so did you notice here down at the timeline, I created a rectangle, a title, and a title. So this is basically my name and then what I do. So let me show you this. So let's make this a little bit larger so you can see it. Okay, so I created this little animation that comes in and out. Welcome to the channel where I share my best tips and strategies to help coaches, consultants, and experts build their businesses. So what it does is it creates layers that you can hide if you don't want it, or you can have it swipe in and out. So if I select the rectangle, for example, then the animation I selected is wipe in and then wipe out. And you can give it direction. You can tell it which way you want it to wipe, how long you want it to wipe, all of that good stuff. So there's some great nifty little graphics and things like that you can bring in to make your videos a little bit more polished. And then we have elements here. Now the elements are not a lot. There's not a lot of elements here. You have text that you can add. You have basic shapes that you can add, like what I just did with my name and that little bar. That was just a rectangle that I used. You've got some things for dynamic text, waveforms. I've never really used any of these because they don't really make sense for what I do. But again, play around with it and see if it'll work for you. And then, of course, you can add captions. So what I did to create the captions in the video that I showed you, the short, is I chose one that was close to what I wanted. I think it was this one. It brings it in, and then you can update it. So you can select it, go to this area, and you can change the colors. You can change the fonts. It starts out with Roboto. I changed it to Montserrat because that's my brand. Font, change the color, change it to burgundy sometimes. Sometimes I change it to teal. Right, so then now I've got the caption in there the way I want it. And you can play around with the size and stuff too if you wanted to have two like this. So that's how you add a caption. And then you can go up to scene and you can save it. This is how you save a layout, and it'll save the caption for you. Okay, and then you can also bring in stock images. They have a ton to choose from. So if you have different ideas that you want to bring in to the video that you're creating, you can choose one of these. And they even have Unsplash, which is nice because if you've ever used Unsplash, you know they have thousands and thousands of images. So one of the things that you can do is just by doing a backslash, you can create a new scene. So basically what I've done, now you see I had one here before, now you see three. So this one right here is what I just marked off inside the backslashes. So now what I can do is go, let's say I want to have an image over this. And I can go to Unsplash. And let's just type in marketing and see what happens. Because that's what I'm talking about there. Okay, so then I can pull this in to this section. I can adjust it. And so now it shows up where I marked those off. So that's how easy it is to pull in an image or another video, mark it off in a scene, and have it show up on your video. So this works with images. It works with those elements that I showed you, with text, whatever. So you can easily create these specific scenes right in the video just by doing backslashes and pulling it in. And another thing that you can do is if you cut it somewhere, so you've cleaned up something right here. So what you can do is you can go down to the timeline. I can make this a little bit larger so you can see it. And you're probably not going to be able to see this, but there are these tiny little dots right here on the sides of each where they're cut. So you can click on that, and then you can decide what the transition is between that cut so it's not jagged. So one of my favorites is the crossfade. So that's what I've done here. So then let's see if you can see this. I'm going to make this canvas only. Therefore, an asset. Coaches could stop. So hopefully you could see where it crossfaded. So it faded in and then it faded out. And so that is an easy thing that you can do in Descript as well in the timeline section. Okay, so you just notice where you've cut things off, find those dots, and you can click the transition that you want. Okay, and that is it. Hopefully you found that helpful. And if you do any kind of videos at all, I highly, highly recommend Descript to save you a ton of time. For the price, you can't beat it. And if you want more videos like this, don't forget to hit subscribe so you can get notified when I make the next video. And please hit the like button if you like this video. Take care.